Right, so shall we start? We have a lot of people today. Right, so before I start, have you guys done coding and programming before? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Great. So what did you do? How did you code? Any programming languages or anything? That can answer, right? You can unmute your mic and talk, or you can put it in the chat as well. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so you said you have done some programming, right? So what languages did you use? You used something like maybe Scratch, Python, Java, whatever.
Sir, we use Scratch.
Right, great.
Yeah, we use Scratch,
Right,
Python.
right. So a lot of you have used Scratch, right? Right, great. So we'll also today be doing something on Scratch, right? So before starting, right, before going into programming, if there's anyone who hasn't done programming or anything in Scratch before, are there people like that as well? Right. But in case there are, so I'll just give a small brief explanation before jumping into it, right? So now, what is programming or coding? It's simply telling a computer what to do. Like if I'm going on an app on my mobile or in the computer, if I'm pressing a button, if something happens, how does the computer know what happens when I press the button? Because it's already been programmed. So we need to tell the computer, okay, when I press this button, this needs to happen, and so on. So how we tell that computer what to do is what we call programming. That's simply it, telling the computer what to do. But just like you and I understand a lot of languages, right? English, Sinhala, Tamil, and maybe something else as well. Even computers understand different languages. So we call these languages programming languages, right? And there are different programming languages. If you just go on the Google and type programming languages, you'll get like Python, Java, a lot of those C++, C Sharp, a lot of programming languages. So when you're starting out, it's very easy to learn through a programming language called Scratch, because not only you're just coding it, but you can also visually see it. So for this project, we'll be using the programming language called Scratch. So some of you said you already have done Scratch, so that's great. So we'll be doing a project. So I'll give you a small tutorial on what project we are trying to do, and then you guys I'll be doing it along with you, and you guys can also follow. So after I'm done with a certain section, I'll be asking you if you've got any questions or anything. So don't be afraid, right? Please unmute your mic, speak up, and if you have any questions, please go ahead. Right. So shall we start?
Okay, sir.
Right. Great. So I'll put the link for
Okay,
the
sir.
project in the chat. You guys can all just click on this link and open it. Right. I hope it works.
Yes.
Right. So let me share my screen. Can you guys also see my screen?
Yes.
Great. So this is what we'll be trying to do, right? We're trying to do a project on Scratch. So if you look at this, it's simply an animation. So not only things like, complex things like a calculator and like things that you have logic
Sir?
and things. Yeah.
You send that link, but it's not working for me.
Does it work for others?
Sir, for me too, it doesn't work.
Let me copy this as well. It works for me. Let me type it again. Right. I think I've given you a different, sorry, my bad. So this is the correct link, right? So open the last link that I've sent. So this will give you the tutorial for today's session. Can you guys access it? And you'll be seeing a page like what I'm sharing in my screen right now. Right now, does it work? That's right. Right. As I was saying, so we can do this complex stuff like, calculations and all those stuff using programming, but we can also make some visual stuff. Like you might have seen some animated movies, and even like that, we can make even animations using this programming language called Scratch. So today we're not doing a very complex project, but it's a very simple project. So what happens is simply this. So if you guys can also just click on this small green flag, you'll see what happens in this. Right? So in this case, it's simply an animation. So what happens is, so let me click on this green flag again, and you will see there's a cat, and you'll see there's a big background, and there's a hippopotamus also, and there's a bus. So both the hippo and the cat comes in and gets on the bus, and then the bus leaves. So looking at that might uh, like it might look something simple, but code to actually program that, you need to understand how we can program it. So this is what we'll be doing today, right? So before we start, before I show you how we will be doing the code, but instead, can you guys just first of all like look at this and say like what are the different things we have in this screen? Maybe you have, if you have done programming before, great. If you haven't, no problem. Just look at what's happening here and just tell me what are the different things we have in this screen. Anyone? When I click the green flag, what are the three things that you see?
Sir, first the hippopotamus may flies from the air to the bus. Then the
Yes.
then the cat walks may to the bus and gets on. Then the bus goes off.
Right. Great. So what are the three main things that we have? The hippo, And we have three things, right? We have the hippo, the flying hippo, the bus, and the cat, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. So do we have a background as well?
Yes, we have a background, sir.
So looking at this, initially what I can say is like, okay, this has a background. This has three things. It has a car, sorry, it has a cat, it has a bus, and it has a flying hippo. Okay, step number one. Okay, now reason I'm saying this is like if whenever you're giving a coding problem or a programming problem, don't just jump into coding, right? First of all, think what you need to do, think what are the different things that are happening, and then think how you can code it, and then jump into coding. That's normally the best practice when it comes to coding, even if it's a very complex problem or a simple problem. So try to first of all think on what happens, and then we'll move on to coding. If you have any questions, please ask it. Right. So let me look at the cat first. What does the cat do?
Project animation.
Yeah. What's that question?
Excuse sir, is this project animation?
Yeah, it's an animation. Right. Look at the cat. What does the cat do?
It's running to the bus.
Yes. So initially, when I click the green flag, where is the cat? Does it always start from a particular place? You look at this.
No, sir, it starts from the same place.
Yeah, it starts from the same place, right? Always when we click on this, the cat starts from this right bottom and it moves towards the bus, correct? Right. So what about the hippo? Where does the hippo start from?
The hippo also starts at the same place.
Yeah, but it starts not near the cat, right? Where does it start? In which
On
part
the
of the
sky.
Yeah, on the sky, on the top of the screen, right? Good. So both the hippo and the cat starts from different places in the screen and it walks towards the bus, right? Or it flies towards the bus. So that's the first thing that we know. Okay, so we need as hippo, we need the cat. It needs to start at this particular position and then it needs to go towards the bus. Okay, right. What about the bus? What happens to the bus?
When they both get on the bus runs.
Yeah, the bus goes, right? But when I click the flag itself, does the bus go?
No, sir.
No, it waits until a certain time, right? Until both the cat and the hippo comes, and then only it moves. Correct? Right. So I think we've already like thought of the different things that we have in this animation. So we have three things. We have the cat, we have the bus, and we have the hippo. And we saw that the cat always starts from the bottom right of the screen, and then it moves towards the bus. And then we also saw the hippo starts from the top left of the corner of the screen, and it moves towards the bus. And then we saw that the bus always starts at the beginning, and it moves then waits until the cat and the hippo comes on, and then it moves towards the moves outside the on the road. Right. So that's basically what you have to think about. So these are the things that we need to first understand before jumping into the code. Right. Shall we now start then? Or do you have any questions before we start? Any questions, please ask.
No, sir.
Right. So I think then we can start. So if you go to the, sorry, if you go to now, if you go, this is the tutorial, right? So even if you don't have me doing this, you can just refer this tutorial and do it. So that's why if you have the link, it will be easy if you can follow along, right? So just go down and you'll see the next button, the create your bus scene. So let's go to the next page on this tutorial. And then they have already given you a project where you can start, right? So we are going to do this in Scratch, right? So there's a small link that you have. So click on this link and open your Scratch project, right? Right, so it will open a project like this. So does everybody have a similar page?
Yes, sir.
Right, great. Right, so I'll just explain this for people who may have not used Scratch before. I'll just show you what this whole thing is about, right? Right, so if you, the first thing you probably might see is this cat, right? The cat on the screen. So, and remember this, like the blue flag that, sorry, the green flag that you saw. So in the similar to the animation that I showed you before. So this entire section where the cat is, right? This section represents your screen. So whatever coding you do will probably affect whatever is in this screen. So this is where you can see what happens because of the code that you put in. So now in Scratch, it's very easy to give coding because we have something called code blocks. So you don't have to type in anything. All you have to simply do is just drag the code block you have. And on the left side of your screen, you might see there's all these different blocks. See, there's something called move 10 steps. We'll be using this now, but you have all you need to know is just how we can add this. So these are these code blocks they have given. If I want to add a code into this, all I have to do is simply drag this and drop it, right? And we just don't do this. I'm just explaining, right? And we can just drag it back as well. And now one thing you might, and also there are different sections. So now say you want to make a cat move, for example. So move is what? It's motion, right? So all of the codes for where you want the cat to move or anything to move is in the motion section. So click on this motion, it will show all the codes related to motion. So you wanted to show how change how the cat looks like, right? If you want to change how anything looks like, you can go to the look section. On the left, you can see this purple color section. If you click on this, now you will see a different set of code blocks. So these are the code blocks related to how to make it look in a different way. So similarly, if you want to add sounds or anything related to sounds, so this is the sound section, code blocks for the sound, and so on. So we have these different sections, and these are the different code blocks that we have, right? So far, so good. Understood? Any questions? right? So I put this here. And another sort of a term that you probably might need to know is something we call sprites. Now, anything that you put on your screen, let's say, for example, a cat or a bus or a hippo, or all of these things that we put on a screen, we call them a certain name. We call them sprite. See, if you look at this, so you can see I'm selecting this on the bottom where my mouse is right now. You can see the different sprites you have on your project. So this is sprite 1. So the name of this sprite is sprite 1. Again, if I want, I can change this sprite's name as well. So what we call all of these things, the cat, the hippo, or anything, we call them sprites. So if I wanted to add a new sprite, for example, and I wanted to add the hippo, I need to add a new sprite. Remember the term, we call it a sprite. And next, also we have to add, you probably saw in your tutorial that we had a background, right? A background for the project, where we had these buildings and all those things. So the backdrops, we call those backdrops. And if you want to add a backdrop, you can go to this section where my mouse is right now. So just an overview simply is this. So we have this screen, here where we have all the things that we are coding, and we have the code blocks on the left with different sections, and we have all our sprites, all the things that we use on the screen on this section. And if you want to add any backdrops or backgrounds, we can use this backdrop section. So that's basically a small introduction about what you see here. So any questions? So if you haven't used this, you'll get a bit more familiar while they're doing this. So, but until then, any other question? Any questions? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Right. Others as well, I hope it's clear. Right. And also, just before moving on, you might, like some of you might have Scratch accounts. Yes, we can just do our project on Scratch. But the thing is, we can't save it unless we have a Scratch account. Right? Don't do what I'm doing. I'm just trying to show you, right? So I was already logged in because I already had an account. But if you don't have an account, I'll just simply show you how to create it, right? This is the same screen you saw before. Okay? There's a button on the top. If you have, this is for people who don't have Scratch accounts. So simply all you have to do is create a Scratch account. And to create a Scratch account, you might need an email address, right? So I'll just show you the steps of how you can create a Scratch account. So if you don't have, it's better if you can create it, because then only you can save your projects, right? So I'll just quickly run through this. All you have to do is press on this join Scratch button, and it will ask you for a username. So make sure you give a username. You can give anything you want, right? Your name, whatever. But sometimes if you, like for example, if I go up there and I try to go back, you will see there's something called username taken, which means somebody else has already used this username. So you need to maybe add some things to make it unique. And when you move on, so see, this username is still taken. So let's try. This is also taken. So let's see, try this. Okay, so this is not taken. So try to just create your own unique username, which is not taken by anyone else. And then maybe put a password as well for this. And right, just put your username and create a password, and then select the country that you live in. So in this case, it's Sri Lanka. Right? And you can also put the month and the year that you were born in. Right? And then select your male or female, and then next. And here they will ask you to give an email address, right? So that's why I said you might need an email address for this step. So just give your email address and press create account. So that will just create your account. Okay. So this is just for people who don't have a Scratch account right now. So it's better if you have a Scratch account. The reason is you can save your projects and you can also share your projects as well. So simply what I did was there was a small join Scratch button on top. I clicked on that and then I just followed the steps: username, password, and country, and so on, and the email address especially. Right. So for those who don't have Scratch accounts, you can follow along, right? But it's better if you can create it when you have that. Right. Shall I start then?
Okay, sir.
Right. So the first thing I want to do is this is my project, right? This is what I'm trying to build. So you see, it's there. It has a nice background, right? The first thing I want to do is I want to add a background. Now I just told you which section I need to go to add a background. Which section is that?
The backdrop section.
Background. So in this backdrop section, you will have this small icon called choose a backdrop, where my mouse is right now. So when you click on this, we can choose a backdrop. So everyone, you can just go to this icon on the bottom right of your screen and click on this choose a backdrop button, right? So then it will show you all the different backdrops there. So we'll try to select something that's similar to what we want. So in this, it will show all the different backgrounds, but there are also sections. So if there are any backgrounds related to, for example, music, if you click on this, it will show the music related backgrounds. If you want sports related backgrounds, it will show sports related, outdoors, and so on. So if you want all the backdrop, it will show you all sections. So in this case, let's go to outdoors, and I think you might find a similar backdrop to the one you saw in the picture. Like this one, right? Okay, I couldn't find it in the outdoors, but if you go to the all section, if you go a bit down, there's something called night city and night city. So this is similar to your background, right? So remember the backdrop you saw on the tutorial. So this is similar. So I just click on this. As soon as I click on that, it will show me my backdrop. Once again, I'll show you what I did. I went to this backdrop section. In this backdrop section, I chose the choose a backdrop icon. I went down and I found the backdrop that I wanted, and I just simply clicked on it. So then you should probably have a backdrop which looks like this and the cat on your screen. So is it the same for you as well?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Great.
Yes,
So
sir.
right. If you have any issues, please tell, right? Any questions? Right. So now I have a backdrop. Now I need what are the three things I need?
A cat, a bus, and the hippo.
It's the cat, the bus, and the hippo. Now, now it's easy if you can go to this tutorial, and the tutorial will give you the exact steps that you have to do, right? So it's easy if you follow this. Like I'm telling you, no, I'm doing it, so you can just follow me. But if you're doing it alone, so there are a lot of projects in this Raspberry Pi in this website. So if you're following this, doing a project on your own, so it will be very easy if you go and see how this tutorial has, right? So it will be easy for you to follow. But I'll just do what I'm doing, no problem. Right, so I'll add the bus first, okay? Now, a bus is a thing I need to add on the screen. So where do you think I will get the bus? In the backdrop section?
Sir, we can get the bus in the sprites room.
Exactly, the sprite section. I told you the things that we add on the screen are called a sprite, which means I need to add a new sprite. So where is this add new sprite? button. So if you see right next to the choose a backdrop, there's also icon with a cat and a plus, which says choose a sprite. So simply, if I click on this, I can create a new sprite. So once again, you'll see all the different sprites that we have here. So for animals, it's not just animals, you will see the animal sprites and so on. So I want a bus sprite. Now, instead of going through all of these and searching, I can also just simply type what I want on this search bar. So let me type in bus. See, it got a city bus sprite. So if I click on this, it will then add that sprite into my screen. Once again, what did I do? I went to this small choose a sprite or cat plus icon. I clicked on this and it will show me all the different sprites. I wanted a bus, so I just search for bus and I clicked on this. It will give me the bus on my screen. Everybody else got it? River?
Yes, sir.
Right, great. Now, so now we'll try to write our first line of code. Okay. Right. So first thing I'm trying to do is, so now before putting the hippo and it will be like it will take a lot, right? So we'll do step by step. Right? Just you can also just click on these sprites and move these sprites around if you want, right? So I'll just keep the cat for a while. And what I'm trying to do is, so initially when the project starts, that means when I click this green flag, I want always this bus to start in the middle. So I don't want to start here. I don't want to start here. I just want it to start in the middle. So that's the first thing I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell the bus, okay, when I click on the green flag, please come to the middle. So how I'm going to do that is, I'll show you. So when I change the position of the bus on the screen, you see, look at this section very carefully where my mouse is right now. So we have this right city bus, there's something X, there's something called Y. Just look at this, then tell me if they are changed. If I change the position, do this X and Y change? Does it change?
Yes, sir. It changes every time you move the bus from somewhere to somewhere.
Exactly. So what are these X and Y? So to identify a position on our screen, we use these coordinates. Probably you might have learned this in school called XY coordinates. So the X-axis is the horizontal axis, that is where my mouse is moving right now in the straight direction, and the vertical axis is on the from top to bottom. So simply X is, if you move from left to right, is X, and if you move from top to bottom, it's Y. So if you see now, right now, X is minus 96. If I move it to the right, you will see the X will increase, or it will be possible. X is 15 right now. So if I move it to the right, X will increase by 15. So whenever I go in this direction, X increases. When I go in the back, the left, X decreases. Now look at Y. Y is 13. So I told you Y is from bottom to top. So if I move this up, you will see Y increases. If I move this bottom, you will see Y decreases. So all of this, every position in the screen, you can define it using this X and Y coordinates. So if I wanted to the bus. Okay, when I start, go to this position, I can simply give, okay, when I start, go to this X position and go to this Y position. Right? For example, I want to say I want to go here, like this, like this. Let me say, okay. Right? So I want to go to somewhere like this. So you can see X is something like this, Y is something like this. So maybe I can give, let's say X is 0. I can also change this, right? You can just type in your value as well. Just like this. So you'll see the bus starts here. X is 0, Y is minus 50. Meaning the bus will go here. But if I change it, it will go change again, right? So what I'm trying to do is, when I click the flag, I'm telling the bus to go to the X position is 0, Y position is 50. And that's what I'm trying to do next. Right. Now going to a position. So is it more like, look at this, first of all, look at the sections, motion, looks, sound. I told you everything is related to this. If it's a sound, it's in the sound section. It's somewhere how it looks, it's in the look section. If it's moving, something related to moving, it will be in the motion section. So I want to tell the bus to go to this position. Which section do you think the block I need is?
So it will be on the motion section.
It will be on the motion section because we have to move, right? So now if you look at this motion section, so if I was in the look, so I go to the motion section, you will see these different blocks. So this move 10 steps is simply telling any sprite to just move 10 steps or just go forward. Simply that. Turn is for turning. Go to a random position. So we can use this to tell the sprite to go to a random position on the screen. And then you will see this block. Go to X and Y. What do you think this block does?
Sir, this block says the bus to go something like to a certain place.
Yeah, exactly. So it will tell the bus to go to the certain place or the place that is defined by these particular coordinates. So initially what I said was X is, let's say X is 0 and Y is minus 50. So whenever I click the flag, I want the bus to go to 0 and minus 50. Okay, so I'm just moving the bus. And when I click the green flag, nothing happens. Because, why is that? Because also one more thing you might have noticed, because I am now this section, I told you this is where we put the codes for codes. But all of these codes are related to a particular sprite. Now look at this, the highlighted sprite is the city bus. So whatever code I put here is related to the bus. Now if I want to add code to the cat, I will first go here and select the cat. And now you will see no codes there. So then I'll add codes for the cat. So remember, here I'm going to do all the codes I'm adding are related to the bus. Right. So now go to doesn't work. Why? Because I didn't tell it when to go to. So when the green flag is clicked, only I want to tell the bus, okay, when the green flag is clicked, go to this position. So clicking on something is an event, right? So the code I want is probably in this event section. So let me go to the event section. All right. So if you read these blocks, can you identify a block that we can use?
When flag click.
Exactly. When flag is clicked. So I can just drag this when flag is clicked. Right? Okay. Now I'll go and run this for this, but still nothing happens. Why is that?
Sir, because it's not connected with the motion block.
Yes. So always remember when you have these blocks, so it will start like this. So it goes line by line, but we need to connect these blocks. So we can't just have these blocks here and then expect them to run, right? Always, okay, first of all, what is the event? Okay, the flag is clicked. When the flag is clicked, what do I need to do? I want to tell it to go to X and Y. Okay, then I need to drag this block and connect it here. Right? When flag is clicked, now it will say go to X0 minus Y50. Now let's take this and see. Now we see that the bus moves, right? So just move the bus somewhere else and then try clicking this again. It will always go to that particular position, X0 minus Y minus 50. Right. So does this work for you guys? Any questions? Anyone having any issues?
No, sir.
Right, works, right? Right. So for people who are new to coding, who haven't done any coding before, so and if you done this, if you could just then flag click, go to this, and if you click on this, it works, then congratulations, you written your first computer code, first line in your computer program. Right? So you simply said, so as I said, that's simply getting the computer what to do. So I say when I click the green flag, make sure the bus goes to this particular position. So this happens. Right. So does it work for everyone? If anyone's having any issues, please click, right? So you can look at it. So it's okay to move on.
Okay, sir. We could move on.
Right. So now, if you look at your tutorial again, so you see there's a bus and you see the hippo and the cat. You can see always the cat and the hippo are in front of the bus, right? Bus is not on top of the cat, right? So how I can show you this. Now look at this. If I just move this bus and put it on top of the cat, you can see the bus is actually covering the cat. But it should not be the case, right? Cat should be in front of the bus. That means the bus should be behind the cat. So how we can do this is we can tell the code to always, hey, bus should always be at the back. So then only we can see these characters moving in front of the bus. Right? Understood what I'm trying to do? What I'm saying?
Yes, sir. I can understand.
Right. So in the
Yes,
right, great. So in the code blocks, we have a code block tell this. We can tell the bus always be in the back. So this is related to how the bus looks, right? How the everything looks. So which section do you think this code is in?
Sir, it belongs to the looks section.
Look section. Right. So if you go to the look section, so you have like for people who haven't done this before, so we can make the cat or anything say something, say hello for 2 seconds. So we can use these blocks. So if you want to go to a costume, I'll tell you about costumes in a while. We can use this costume blocks, right? So if you want to change the size, we can tell to change the size of this. So now what we want is go to the front or the back. So there, if you look, you will see there's this block called go to front layer. So remember in which block, which code am I right now? Is it the cat sprite or the bus sprite?
Sir, you are in the cat sprite.
Right. So should I put it here or should I go to the bus sprite and put it? I want to tell the bus to go back.
Sir, then you have to click on the bus sprite and then here you go to front layer block and click on the front small square and then it will appear as front and back. Then you have to click back and then click the block. Then the bus will go to the back layer.
Right. Very good. So always remember when you're doing some coding to a sprite, make sure you're in the sprite that you want to add to. So I want to add to the bus, so I'll go to the bus. And then I'll drag this to the front layer block. Now this is, and always remember, don't just put it here, you need to connect this block to the top layer. And then not front, right? I want to go to back, right? So if you click on the small arrow icon, the small drop down, if you click on this, you will see two things, front and back. So what do I want to tell? I want to tell it to go to the back. So I'll just simply change this to click on back. So okay, when the flag is clicked, go to this, and now also don't stay in the front, go to the back. So shall I just see if this works? And we can see that, yeah, do you have any questions? Right. So now look, the bus is on top, bit on top, and then you can see the bus is in front of or on top of the cat. So what should happen is when I click on this, bus will go to that position, or the bus will also should be behind the cat. Let's see if it works. So I click on this, and you can see the bus move, and also the bus move to the back, which means the cat is on top. Right? Works. Right. So another thing you can do is we can also change the color of the bus. So if you want to change the color, changing the color is also changing how something looks, right? So that's also in the look section. So if you look here, you can see there's something called change color. There's something called set color. So this block can be used, like you don't have to use this. Yeah, any questions? Right.
No, sir.
Right. So now this set color can be used to change the color. So now we can give this a number between, I think, 0 to 200. So for example, if I give, say 100, and if I just press this, you will see the color of the bus change, right? So if you put 50, you'll see a different color. Right? You can just change the color or change the color effect using this. So you can just type in whatever number you want. I think between 0 and 250, right? So you can just type in anything you want. So when you click, it will always be different color.
So we just put the number change, so the bus's colors will be different. Like,
you mean this?
no, if we change the numbers, the bus's color will be like changing.
Sorry, yeah. Based on the number that you put, the bus color will change, but it will always, it won't change. It will change to a particular color. So this color represents 150. That is purple color. So always when you do this, it will be purple color. So if you want to change it, for example, I think green was 50. When I press 50, it is yellow. So if I want to change to 50, always I can put just 50. Right?
Okay, sir.
Right. So basically, we can just leave this bus code for now, right? Let's maybe move on to the cat for a bit. So one thing you might notice is on this on the tutorial that you had, right? The cat is very small, right? Bus is big, but in this case, the cat is very big. So we need to first name the cat smaller. So now, because now there's a way you can make the cat smaller using the code itself. That is, you look at here, you can see the look section. You can just there's something called change size, set size. You can use this to change the color. Right? Sorry, change the size. But because in this case, the car size is always the same size, so we don't have to change it from the code. So we can just simply change it from the screen itself. You can click on this cat sprite, click on this, and then you will see all the different things for the cat, right? The X position, the Y position. So, and there's something called size. Can you see this? This represents the percentage. So this is the original size of the cat, that is 100. So if I want to make the cat smaller, I can just reduce this size. For example, if I say 50, and if I click somewhere else, you can see the cat will become smaller. If I want to make this bigger, I can make it bigger, the number larger than 150. Oh, sorry, 100. So now I put 150 and show, so you see the cat will be bigger. So in this case, I want to make the cat smaller. So I'll just put 50 and let it be like that. Right? Change for you as well. Right, so now we can see that the cat is smaller, but which direction is the cat looking at?
Sir, it's looking at the right side.
Yeah, the project or tutorial that they have given, what side is the cat looking at? Moving towards.
It's looking at the left side.
Yes. So we need to change that. So we need to tell the cat, hey, don't look at the right side, but instead look at the left side. Now, how we can change that is, so similar to the size that you saw, there's something called direction, right? So this direction tab, just click on this and it will show you. So look at this arrow. So it's pointing to the right, right? So if you want to make it point to the left, you can just simply change the position of this arrow. You can just tell it to change to the left side. Or you can simply type in -90 as well.
But sir, the cat is on upside down.
Yeah, that's it. So okay, the cat turned to the left, but small problem, the cat is upside down. Right? So for that, what we can do is once again click on this direction tab. Now it's 90, it's pointing in the correct direction. So there's a small button here, 2 arrows, left called left and right. So if you click on this, then it will be corrected. Let me click on this. So you will see, okay, now the cat looks to the left and it's on the right side. Correct? Hope it's okay right now.
Yes, sir.
Right, great. So now, okay, now I have the bus, and the bus always goes to the middle. But what about the cat? Does the cat always start at the, like if you look at the tutorial again, you will see the cat always starts at this particular corner place. So even if so now the cat moves here, right? But if I click on this again, you will see the cat always moves to the right. So next, I need to say, so if I press this button, nothing happens to the cat, right? So between the cats in the sky, it won't move to this position. So similar to what I did to the bus, I told the bus always when I click on the green flag, keep moving to this position. So I do the same thing with the cat. So since I already done the bus code, you guys can tell me what are the code blocks I need to take to this. So simply what I want to do is I want to tell all this when the cat when the green flag is click, hey cat, you need to move to maybe some position like this. Right? Yeah. Can you guys tell me what are the codes? What do I need to do?
Sir, you have to put the green flag block in the events tab and the motion block in the motion tab.
Right. So I need to to happen when I click the flag. So yes, I'll take this green flag click from the events block. Great. So now I need to tell it to go to a particular position. So which block should I use?
The motion step.
Motion tab. Which block?
Go to X 206 and Y minus 96.
Good. So let me just maybe give it a sort of a round figure maybe. Let's say 200 and minus 100. So now let me see this. I'll just move the cats somewhere else. Now just click on the green flag and see. It moves towards this particular position. All right. Does it work for you guys as well? Right? Any questions?
No, sir.
Right. So next,
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Can you show the code of the bus?
right.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. Others, any questions?
No, sir.
Right. Okay. I have the bus. I have the cat. So next, what I'm trying to do is I want to tell the cat to go to the bus. So I need to tell the cat to move. So can you look at this? So move is obviously in the motion section, right? So can you look at these blocks and tell me, is there a block that I can use to tell the cat to, hey, move?
Sir, the move 10 steps block.
There's a block called move 10 steps. Yes.
Move steps.
Good, yeah. We can use the move 10 steps block. So let me use this move 10 steps block. So let's see what happens. Okay, you can see it moved a bit, right? So let me try it again. Move. Now the reason it won't move is because we always tell to go to this particular position. So now you guys don't do this. I just remove this and just to show you what happens, right? I just remove this block. I want to just to show you what happens when I click the when I just move 10 steps. So if I have removed the code from this line, it won't run. Only thing will run with this. So look at this. So the cat is in this position. I say, okay, now if I press this, you see the cat moves 10 steps. 10 steps in the sense, 10 steps in the screen, right? If I click on this again, you see it will move again. If I click on this again, it will move again. As long as I move this, so I need to move 10 steps, it will keep on moving. So if I want to move it, like for example, a very large amount, say, let me say 100. I can say I don't want to move 10 steps, I can move directly 100 steps. But see, directly, automatically comes from here to there, right? 100 steps. But it doesn't go slowly, right? And one thing is, I don't want to like move 10 steps is nice because it moves slowly, but I don't want to keep on doing this again and again and again and again, right? I want to, is there a way, if, I'm thinking like, is there a way I can keep on moving this again and again without having to press the green flag?
Sir,
Yeah.
we can use,
Right. So some people have already done this. So now we're coming to a thing called loops. New concept if you're like new to programming. So if you go to this control section, right? In the control section, there are loops and conditions. So you might learn this later. But now if I want something, now this moves 10 steps. Like this is just one block, right? If I want the same block to happen again and again, I can use something called a repeat block. So you can see this repeat block, right? So if I drag this, you can see inside this is repeat 10 times. The number here represents how many times you want to repeat. So whatever block that you put within this repeat block, it will always do it not once, but the times that you have mentioned here. For example, if I put this move 10 steps here, right? And then I run this, now look at what will happen. It will move 10 steps. So it'll move 10 steps 10 times. It will move 10 steps 10 times. So if I want to move it maybe a bit more slowly so that you can see what happens. So let me put 5 here. Then I see. Now it will move a bit more slowly. Slow. And if I make it 1, it will even move slow. Right? And if I put 1, but it will move slower, but it won't move that far, right? So in order to move it far, I need to say, okay, not 10, but keep on moving for even more. So let me just put 10, 20 here, and maybe 5 steps here. So you can see it will always move, right? And it will move. So now I don't want to keep it moving from the way I started, right? But I want to always start it from this position and then move 10 steps, right? Or move 10 steps, sorry, move 5 steps 20 times. So that means I need to again add this, add this. I just remove this to show you that's what happens, right? And then I'll put this again. And then if I click on this, you will see we move closer again and again and again. So do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Right. Any questions? Right. So I'll just explain what I did. Like if you guys haven't used the repeat block before, once again, the ISS repeat block, and what it does is everything that we put inside it, it does it again and again. How many times does it do it? It does as the many times as you have mentioned in this particular time. For example, here I put 20, repeat 20 times. What do I repeat 20 times? Move 5 steps. Right? So that's how we can do the same thing again and again. Right. But right, any questions after that?
Okay.
Right. Okay, so now look at this. So okay, he moved to the left. Sorry, he starts at a position and he moves to the bus, but does the cat even look like he's moving? He's just sliding, right? So
Yes,
what?
sir.
Yeah. So like he doesn't even look like he's moving. So
Can use next costume from
yeah,
the looks.
great. So now this is where we come to something called costume. Now all of the sprites that we used have multiple costumes. Costumes are simply like how the sprite looks. Now, if you go now, all of this time we are working in this code section. Now, if you look at on top, you can see there are 3 sections: code, costumes, and sounds. Right? For each sprite, like if you go to this sprite also has these 3: codes, costumes, sounds. So if I go to the cat again, and if I go to this costume section, now this is how the sprite looks like. See, this is the cat. So somebody has drawn this like this, so that's why we can see the cat like this. Now, see on the left, this is costume now. And if you go down, you see there's another costume. See, the costume too. This is how maybe the cat looks when it's walking. Right? But like now keeping this itself again would look very the same thing, right? But keeping this again would also look the same thing. But what if we can keep on moving like this? One, then this, then this, and then this, then this, and then this. So if we can change like this, then it will look like the cat is moving, right? So what I can do to tell, okay, each time you move, okay, we are telling it, let me go back to the code. We are moving 5 steps, right? So I can also tell the cat, okay, each time you move, change to the next costume. Okay, you move 5 steps, go to this costume. Move another 5 steps, and you go back to this costume. Move another 5, go back to this. So simply after each 5 steps, go to the next costume. So changing a costume is changing how the sprite looks like, which means in which section is it? In the look section. So here you can see there's a block called next costume. So you can simply take it in. Now see this switch costume block. You can use this switch costume block too if you want to just switch to a particular costume. But I want to just keep on moving to the next and next, right? So it will be easier if I use this next costume block. And I want to do it always, right? After 5 steps, do it. So I'll just take this next costume and put it inside this repeat block. Right? Inside the repeat block, there's new 5 steps and next costume. Now if I do it, let's see what happens. So now it looks like the cat's walking or running, right? Right, so that's how I can do that. Any questions?
No, sir.
Right. So, and now we need to make it look like the bus, sorry, the cat got into the bus, right? So how we can do that is maybe when the cat comes near the bus, so when the cat is at this particular position, let's say, let's make him noticeable. So then 20, let's make him move like 22 maybe. You know, he's at the door. So when he's at this position, I want the cat to go inside. That means the cat is inside, so we can't see the cat, right? That means the cat disappears. So what I can do is tell, okay, I'm off. Yeah, any questions? Right. So what I can do is I can tell the cat, hey, start from here, move here, and when you come here, disappear. Right? So once again, start, walk, come to this position, and then you can hide the cat. So there's a way you can hide the cat. So can you look at this and see if you have a particular block?
Yes, sir. The hide block.
Yes, the hide block. So now if I do put this now, after all of this, after we have come to the bus, I want to tell the cat, hey, hide. So I can put this hide block at the bottom. Now if I run this again, you see, see, it came here and it disappeared. Now you might have a small other problem because when you press this again, where's the cat? The cat is not showing because we already told the cat to hide. Now in easy way you can show the cat is like this. See? So in the sprite section, there's a show block, right? With an eye and with an eye which is crossed off. So if you click on the eye, you will see the cat again. If you click on this, it will hide. Now the reason is, so because we have told the cat to hide, the cat is already hidden. But we don't want the cat to hide when it starts, right? So when we start, we need to show the cat, and when it goes to the bus, we know we need to hide. So just near the hide block, we have this show block, right? So we can use this block to show the cat. So can somebody tell me where in the code should I put this code? Should I put
After
it
the when green flag click.
right? Good. We can put it after the when green flag click, or we can also put it anywhere. Anyone else has any other answers? Right, good. So we can put it after the green flag click. So you can see when I run again, it will be happening. Now, just one thing. Now, in this case, you won't see notice a big thing, but you can see there's go to section, right? Go to block, right? Now imagine you have the cat. Now the cat is here. Cat is here, right? Now I'm telling the cat to go back to this particular position. Now, if I show the cat before telling the cat to go to this position, sometimes, in this case, you won't see because it's very fast, but sometimes you will see the cat also moving, also you like moving back to this position also will be shown. So whenever you have a go to X and go to Y, like a block like this, it's better to put your show block after the go to, right? So first of all, go to this position, right? You can't see the cat going to that position, but from that onwards, then only I need to show. So it will be the same thing. You won't see any difference. But I'm just telling you, like in future, when you like making codes, just gotta remember that we don't want to show that the cat goes back to the position. So we need to always show the cat starts at that position. So after the go to block, I can put the show block. Right. So now it works. So we have the bus, we have the cat, and it works. Any questions, guys? Right. So now I need to add the hippo. Now, since we've done all, like it's almost the same thing, I'm going to do it fast, and I think you guys can also help me. So what do I need to do? I need to add a hippo. I need to add a name. Sprite, right? So you can just go to the new sprite and then you can just type for hippo. And you can see, you can see the file hippo.ms. So if you click on this, you will have the hippo.ms. Right, the hippo is also a bit too big. I want to make it small. What do I need to do? Change the size here, right? Because I made the cat 50, I'll also make the hippo 50. Right. And then what do I need to do? I want to tell always when I click on the green flag, always now the cat started here, but I want the hippo to start from this position. Tell me what I need to do. I want it, it's like 2 times now. But then there's the cat initially when green flag is clicked to go to this position. Same thing I need to do here as well, right? I can take when green flag is clicked. I need to go to the particular position. What is that position? Let me just try somewhere here. So here it's something like minus, let's say minus 200 and 150. So minus 150. So now I'm going to click the flag. See, all this goes to the right. Now I need to make the hippo move towards the bus. What is the code blocks what code blocks can I use? Same thing I use for the cat, right? What did I use for the cat? Repeat. So I told it to move few steps and I used the repeat block. So let me use the same thing here, right? I need to move 10 steps, let's say, but I don't want to move 10 steps once, but I need to move it 10 steps a lot of times. Let's say this. Now, if I click on this, it will move, right? There's a small problem, right? Anyone can know what the problem is? When I click on this, it moves. Okay, yes, but this is no problem, right?
The costumes are not switching.
Yeah, But also we can do it. We can change the costume. Okay, I'll change the costume as well. So what we do in the previous thing, we can take the next costume and we can put it inside. Now we can see that it's moving. So I'll just increase the steps to make it a bit more clear. Right. So costumes also change. It also moves. But now can you see another problem?
It should go to the bus.
Exactly. It should go to the bus, but where is it going? It's going somewhere else, right? So do you have anybody got any idea how we can maybe change that?
Changing the direction.
Exactly. So we can tell the hippo, hey, don't go in straight direction, but go towards the bus. So one way we can do it, maybe you saw for the cat I did. So by maybe just going here and changing it from like this, maybe, and then tell it, okay, now we go. So it will probably work, right? But it's better in this case, so because we used this before, in this case, I'll just try to change it from the code itself, okay? So what I need to tell it is, before moving 10 steps, please point towards the bus and then move 10 steps. So if you go to the, let's see, this is looking towards a particular direction, right? Or moving towards a particular direction. So it should probably be in the motion section. So can you see this point towards block? So what this does is it points towards whatever we say. Yeah, yes, sure. Yeah, it points towards something, right? So if you want it to point towards another sprite, that also we can get. So if you click on this small drop down, it will show you all the sprites that you see. Sprite 1, which is my cat, and then this is called, the other one is the city bus. So where do I want it to point towards?
City bus.
Exactly. So I clicked on the city bus. So I need to tell it to point before moving, right? So I'll take this block and put it before the moves 10 steps. Now shall we see what happens? Now it works, right? If I want to move it maybe a little bit maybe slowly, say 5, and then let's make it like 50. See how it moves, right? So does it work for you guys? Any questions? Another thing is when the hippo comes here, I want the hippo to go inside the bus, right? Same thing I did for the cat. How can I do that?
Hide block.
Height block, exactly. So I can put the height on the bottom. So when it goes towards this, it will hide. But then you won't be able to see the hippo again. So what can I do for that? The show block, right? You can take the show and initially show it. Either you can put it on top, or I think it's better if you can do it after the go to block. Right? Now when you click it, you will see, okay, it comes and it moves and it disappears. And then we click on it again, you will see it again, okay, flying towards the bus. And the cat also. Right, so I think we've done a lot of things. So any questions after this? Does it work for you guys? Any issues?
So, sir, how about the bus need to move?
Yeah, we'll go to that in a moment. So after this, all done? Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. So yes, as Shishigan said, so next thing what we need to do is make the bus move. Right. So where should I put that code? In the bus or the sprite or the hippo?
The bus.
Sorry, in the bus, right? Yeah, very good. So in the bus, I need to tell it to move again. So Which block do you think I can use? So we moved stuff before, right? We moved the hippo and we moved the cat. So we always use the go to block, right? Go to XY. Sorry, to move a particular position to a particular position, we use the go to. But now I'm going to use a different block. Okay, that's a block for glide. See, now we saw the bus move, right? So we can tell it to glide as well. So glide to a particular position. Now the good thing about glide is, so we don't have to put a move steps and then put the repeat block again and again, because we can simply tell, okay, go to a particular position that we gave, but take this much seconds to move. So it's like, it's similar to the move and the repeat together. So let me just show you. Let's say this, we want the bus to move somewhere like maybe this. Let's say what is the XY position? So it's like 3270 minus 30. So we keep this as minus 15. And let's say maybe 320. And I'll put this here, right? Now you will see like this moves. So it goes a bit. Now forget about the cat and the hippo for a bit and just focus on the bus, right? The movement of the bus. You can see the bus keeps moving, but the bus moves a bit fast. I want to make it a bit slow. How can I do that? Is tell the bus, hey, don't take 1 second to go there. You can take 2 seconds. So I change this 1 to 2, and if I try again, you will see the bus goes a bit more slower, right? But there's a small problem, right? What's the problem?
The hippopotamus is not going into the bus.
Yeah. So the bus doesn't wait until the hippo comes. The bus doesn't wait until the cat comes, right? So we can tell the bus to wait. So before moving, hey, wait a bit. So there's a block for that as well. So can anyone find out what that block is? Small hint is probably in the control section. Is there a block here that I can use to tell the bus to wait?
Wait second.
Yes, exactly. Wait 1 second block. So now I can tell the bus to wait for a particular time that I give. Let's say how long does it take for the movement? Let's say about 4 seconds. Okay. Let's say 4 seconds. Now I'm telling the bus to wait for 4 seconds. Tell me, where should I put this?
For the last block.
Before the last one, exactly. Before the bus moves, I need to tell, hey, wait a bit and then, right? So wait for 4 seconds and then move. Now let's see if it works. The bus waits until both of them came and now they can move. Okay, but you can still see part of the bus, right? So what we can do is the same thing that we did for the cat. So when the cat came close, what did we do? We told the cat to hide. So the same thing you can do here. You can tell it to hide. But as you can remember, if we hide it, we need to show it as well. So I put the show block after the go to. Now if I run this again, and then the bus will move, and then it will hide itself. Right? So does it work? Any questions?
Sir,
Yeah.
I done my project. Can I share it in the chat?
Yeah, sure. Others all completed?
Yes, sir.
Right, great. Anyone having any?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can I also share?
Yeah, sure, you can just put in the chat. Right. So I think our time is also up, and we've actually completed the project. Now this is like some people might be new to Scratch, right? But some people might have used it before. So like I hope you guys learn something from this. But if you want to develop this, if you want to improve this more, you can also try just now. These are just the basic things that I showed you, right? I told you the costumes and things like that. So we can also change these things as well. For example, it says Scratch tool, right? So I don't want to say Scratch tool. I want to give it a new name. So for example, so where do you think I can get the bus? How the bus looks like? Where do I get that from?
Costumes.
Exactly, the costumes. So I'll go to the bus costumes, and you will see the bus costume here. Now if I switch to this, it will show the another costume. So if I want to change this, for example, I don't want to say Scratch tours. I want to say, I don't know, like say fun tours or something. So I can actually edit this costume itself. So for example, I can just click on this Scratch. Sorry, I edited the wrong thing. So I need to edit on or click on the wording, and then I press delete, or I can press this delete on top, right? Now I don't have a word, but instead I can my own word, for example. And how we can do is just press on this text, click here, and you can maybe write whatever you want, fun towards, right? And if I want to maybe give it another font, maybe letter font, something like this. So you can select on this font like this small drop down, and you can give a font like this. And if I want to move it again, I just click on this and move. Now just try running this, you will see. No, it doesn't say Scratch tours, now it says contours. So you can just play around with this, right? So like just don't just stop by, okay, I've done the project, that's it. No. Just try to just work around and like play around with this. You can change the costumes, you can maybe make maybe you can make even the cat miss the bus. So the cat is, for example, moving not like you can put maybe a weight. So cat is moving very slowly. Okay? The cat is moving very slowly. You won't be able to catch the bus. So for example, okay, the hippo came and the bus is waiting, and bus went, the cat is still come. So you can just play around with this stuff and make sure you understand the concept, right? The blocks that we use, the repeat blocks, the move blocks, the show, like what happens, make sure you understand. So yeah, so that's about it from me. Any questions you guys have to ask? Did you understand the project? Is it okay? Yes, I saw some of you have shared your Scratch projects with me. This is great. So anyone has any questions that you want to ask? So was it clear? Was the project clear? Do you understand what happened? What we did?
Yes, sir.
Right. So if that's the case, I think we can wind up for the day. Yeah. So thanks everyone for joining. And like if this is your first day on Scratch, so keep improving and like keep working on this project. So this Raspberry Pi. So these projects, if you go here, you see a lot of projects for the Scratch. So you can play around on this. Right? For Scratch projects, there are different Scratch projects and so on. So you can just follow these projects and keep on improving yourself on program, right? Yeah. So thanks for joining, and maybe we'll see you guys another day. So thank you very much and good night.
Good night, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Have a
Night,
nice
sir.
day, sir.
Night, everyone.
Good night.